and Julia Sondu, showing you where development is happening. Please come and join us. This HBCU graduate left the US to build a successful clothing factory in Ghana.
Go to America, get a good education, come out and get a good job. And I followed that to a script. I graduated electrical engineering and physics, cum laude, all those honors. I had the Burger King athlete, awards, all those things I had. And then I was able to get lucky in the sense that my first experience was I had a job with NASA.
Okay.
So I was working actually in my industry.
Kwabs Asamoah and his family left Ghana for the US when he was only 9 years old. He got to America at a time when many thought Africans were savages and primitive in their way of thinking. As a result, he had a difficult time fitting in. I had a tough upbringing. It was challenging. The only equal I had was education, he told Face to Face Africa in a recent interview for the Returnee Project. According to Asamoah, what even compounded his integration was the fact that he didn't speak a word of English. Despite his challenging years in the US, his parents never compromised on education. They gave him two options, sink or swim. And according to him, the admonishing gave him some level of fortitude in his adult life and business career. An HBCU graduate with a degree in physics and engineering, Asamoah would later find passion for fashion and abandon engineering. Although he developed an interest in fashion as a STEM student, he had no formal training in his newfound love. Nonetheless, college taught him the principle of educating himself in any subject matter. When I was going to college, I wasn't an engineer, he said. It was after college that I became an engineer. I could take that to fashion because I knew how to learn, he added. And if I could apply those same principles I learned in engineering, I could also be successful in fashion. As he got into the fashion industry, he soon realized that there were few people that looked like him. He had great ambition to open a giant factory. However, it started with a small factory shop called Custom Looks Clothier that was doing so well, according to Asamoah. It was my long-time expansion and projection. I felt that having a factory was a better setup for me. There weren't too many successful labels in America that I knew of were 10, 15 and 20 years in the game, he said. Powerful black-owned brands like Cross Colors and Fubu had come and gone when Asamoah started Customs Looks. He, therefore, entered the fashion industry with a plan to remain permanently. And the only thing he saw as a permanent structure to remain relevant was to have a manufacturing wing. Asamoah returned to Ghana, a country he left when he was only 9 years old, to start his fashion business. The labels will come and go, but the manufacturer was pretty solid. So that became my logic, and I could not set up a manufacturing operation in the United States. So whenever I came to Ghana, I would always see hundreds of tailors all over the place. I knew we could sew her, but it was the ability to put them in a factory environment that I thought I could bring, and that is what we want to work on, Asamoah said. Since returning home and establishing his business, Asamoah says he has encountered a lot of challenges, chief amongst them being cultural differences. He came from an environment where credit determines his value and wealth and ability to accomplish things. However, in Ghana, he had to adjust to dealing with a cash society. Another challenge for him is the work culture, salary structure, communication, human resources and work ethics, and marching with success. In America, Asamoah said he made $100,000 a year and had 2 houses and 5 cars, but he didn't have time. Despite his challenges, one thing he has come to appreciate about working in Ghana is flexibility and time. Before Kwabs Asamoah opened his successful Custom Looks clothing factory, Ghanaians had been dedicated followers of fashion. But their clothing is based on more than just vibrant colors and free-flowing frocks, with heritage and culture playing an important role in stylistic choices. The history of textile and clothing in Ghana stretches beyond pre-colonial times, where yards of fabric were spun from raw materials such as cotton and raffia on traditional wooden looms. Even today, those traditional looms are still being used to produce fabric like Kente and Ghanaian cloth. Also, Trade activities across the subregion allowed other West African clothing trends like the mud cloth from Burkina Faso and wax printing from Niger to influence the styles Ghanaians wore. Nevertheless, Kente from the Ashanti, Kente from the U, and Gonya cloth from northern Ghana are some of the most recognizable and well-known textiles that represent traditional Ghanaian dressing. Roots in Kente. Kente is a world-famous hand-woven fabric made by the Akans in the Ashanti, Eastern and Bronga Hafo regions of Ghana. Its distinct pattern design and vibrant colors can only be replicated perfectly by the weavers who have the knowledge of the craft passed down through the generations. Genuine Kente cloth can be spotted by the thick nature of the strips of cloth that comprise it, as well as the symmetrical geometric shapes of color. Each color block has a distinct meaning and is combined with the pattern to be worn on specific occasions including festivals, funerals and weddings. Kente has become a hallmark of Ghanaian culture today due to its popularity, but the legend of its origin is a source of great conflict between the Akan and the U. History in the making. The Anlo, a major ethnic group in the Volta region of Ghana, also produce a hand-woven fabric similar to Kente that is known as Kete. However, unlike the Akan, the Anlo do not claim to have developed the cloth on their own, as the weaving technique is common among other Western African citizens. Kete is also known for its bright colors and symmetrical pattern. Although the origins are not clear, both textiles are of great value to the cultural heritage of Ghana. Measure twice, cut once. In northern Ghana, the Gonya cloth is a blue fabric of woven cloth used to make a thick plaid shirt known as fugu or batikari. This dense fabric is made in other colors besides blue but follows a distinct production pattern that is identifiable by the cuts and patterns, as well as the embroidery along the hem, and is often worn with a matching cap. Inspired choices. All these indigenous traditional textiles are still used in modern-day Ghana and are greatly respected by the people. However, colonialism and Western culture also have an influence on Ghanaian dressing. Most Ghanaian fashion trends today tend to blend traditional styles with Western influences to produce clothing that satisfies the demands of both worlds. In addition, cultural borrowing from other countries like Nigeria, Ivory Coast and Niger have also contributed in shaping Ghanaian fashion trends. For example, most Ghanaian wedding ceremonies borrow the gele, agbada and ankara designs used traditionally in Yoruba and Igbo wedding ceremonies. The functions of clothing go beyond looking good or protecting the wearer from nature's elements in Ghanaian society. Various symbolic and thematic undertones are present in their textiles and the designs used, which shows social status or pay respect. Powerful black-owned brands like Cross Colors and Fubu had come and gone when Asamoah started customs looks. He, therefore, entered the fashion industry with a plan to remain permanently. And the only thing he saw as a permanent structure to remain relevant was to have a manufacturing wing. Asamoah returned to Ghana, a country he left when he was only 9 years old, to start his fashion business. This is the end of our program today. See you on Intervlog same time tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon to get new video updates. Thank you for watching Intervlog. Thank you.